Good evening. Welcome to the 2-year anniversary presentation of Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is where we started roughly 2 years ago. I don't quite remember the day, but it's been 2 years. And I thank all of you for 2 years. Thank you very much. Remember the day. I think we were getting feedback from somebody.
I think that was me just for a second. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Met a lot of wonderful people along the way. I look forward to all the wonderful people I have yet to meet and just continue growing the soundtrack community that we got going. Wonderful people. Thank you, everyone. Boomer's not here tonight. He's getting slammed with a hurricane. Please keep him and everyone in Florida and in the path of the storm in your prayers and your thoughts. Boomer, thank you for 2 years. Thank you for putting up with me for 2 years, doing these movies every week. Can't thank you enough. I thank everyone who's made guest appearances. Tonight, we've got Big Al Presents, Retro Reels, Chris P, Jedi Masters Utopia. Leia Plus Side will be making an appearance. She's just taking care of some things on her end. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Round of applause.
Thank you. Congratulations. And, it's been a good 2 years and want to see many more to come.
Thank you.
Yeah. Always a pleasure to join you, Birdman. Always a pleasure. If I'm not on, I'm usually watching along. So,
agree with the Big Al there, Birdman.
Thank you. And I don't know if any of y'all have met Retro Reels before. He's in the UK. He's a real big movie buff.
So the hurricane is not affecting you, Retro?
No, I'm a bit far away from it. I'll mark myself safe on Facebook though.
Yeah, UK, of course, been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah, the Queen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was. I was looking into her a little bit, and she was the second longest-serving monarch in recorded history. I thought that was pretty interesting. She was a year and a half away from beating King Louis XIV.
Yeah, impressive run.
I don't think Charles is quite going to make that.
No, he won't. He'd be like if he does 20 years.
How old is Charles?
73.
Wow.
It's got good genes, though, because both mom and dad well into their 90s.
How old is William? Is he in his 40s?
Late 30s, early 40s, I think.
Wow. Well, David Pensack likes your shirt, Retro.
Cool, thank you.
It is the Halloween season now.
It is.
Go Team Ghost Planet, welcome. Thank you for coming by. I think you were here for the first show ever. Here we are 2 years later. Hard to believe. Where does the time go?
How many movies and shows have you done? Did you go back and count?
I would have to look that up. I don't know.
You'll just have to open up your channel one day and go and count all the different rewatches. I have to do that myself.
I'm assuming we've all seen this film, so
217 videos, it says.
Okay. A lot of that is eBay stuff I've opened up. Probably about not quite half would be movies, I would guess.
Always fun. I always wait to see if you cut yourself.
Thanks a lot.
Well, no, I don't want you to. I'm just saying every time you go into those packages, it looks like, I'm like going, oh, my Lord.
Thank you. Now, Ian says the same thing. I'm just like, hey.
I can't say anything. I snipped myself with a pair of scissors yesterday, right in between my finger. I was cutting up some of my mom's old credit cards, and I dipped myself, and I'm like, dang it. That's a stupid way to do it.
I'm always careful if I have a sharp object in my hand.
Well, I've been on this, lucky enough to be on this channel. Probably done about 10 movies with you or something, and people have asked me, how I got involved, and I always say, well, I met a guy on the internet.
What was your first Indiana Jones experience?
Temple of Doom, I believe.
Excellent. Did it scare you?
Yeah,
Yeah, it should.
I was only young. I had nightmares about snakes and chilled monkey brains.
Chris P., what about you?
Seeing this movie in the theater with my parents and my brother when it was first released.
How old are you?
7.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a little scary, especially towards the end there. I mean, and then at some parts I didn't understand, so I was kind of bored. But I mean, obviously appreciate it now because I love the music. So.
What about you, Zootopia?
Well, I remember this movie coming out, and I also remember my mom not letting me go see it in the theaters, saying that it was going to be too scary for me. And so I think the first time that I saw this was on TV. It was probably on ABC when they used to show those movies on Sunday nights. So I think this was that was the first time that I saw Raiders. The first one I saw in the theater was definitely Temple of Doom. My dad actually took me and my brother to go see it. So at a matinee. So that was my first in theater experience for Indiana Jones. But I loved it. One of my favorite movies of all time. This would be what if I were stuck on a desert island, what would I want to have with me? This would be one of them.
Al, you're the oldest person on this stream, so I'm thinking you probably definitely saw Raiders in the theater.
I was a vital 16-year-old man. Went to it the first weekend it was at the local theater. I'm not sure if it was the actual opening weekend, but it was first chance I had to watch it. I was there. I don't know if it was Friday night or if it was like Saturday afternoon, but I remember just being fascinated by it. It just, all the press was because it was Spielberg and George Lucas teaming up, and it was the big film coming out that June of that year, and it was the must see. And I think I saw it a few times in the theaters. And it's
Did you have a date for that first time?
No, I didn't really. When I went to the movies, I was about the movie. When I was young, for some reason, it was only when I got in my 20s that I really care if I had a woman to put my arm around, which sadly did not happen that often.
That's all right. You don't need the distractions watching the film.
That's true. That's partially true. I mean, but I was at the time I was 16. I wasn't driving yet, so I'm sure Mom was in the audience with me, or she dropped me off. She might have been there. It might have been Mom was my date. Now that I think about it.
So, Big Al, do you remember? Was there a lot of hype for this movie coming out? Were people anticipating it, or was it kind of a surprise?
There was some good word of mouth. Of course, we didn't have the internet or anything like that.
How did you live?
I know. I just had TV and movies. That was, you just saw the ads on TV. We had this thing called newspapers, like these big things, and you'd open them up, and this was one of those films that would have that full page poster copy, coming this Friday to theater near you kind of thing. And that was just a real big movie that summer. That's one everybody was talking about. You go around humming the theme. I got the novelization. I got the LP soundtrack, and everywhere I went, I was pretending I had a bullwhip with me and wished I had a fedora.
Do you still have the soundtrack?
I'm sure I do somewhere. I know I have my LPs. They're just still tucked away. I haven't gotten to them yet. But I did find my novelizations for the good 3 Indiana Jones films in my paperbacks that I finally went through.
Retro, you got the box set for Raiders on LP, don't you?
No, I got the 2-disc, the latest one that was released, that expanded
Okay.
on LP, and then I've got the original issue LP and the original issue CD as well.
Okay. Well, y'all want to start this film?
Yeah, I'm all ready.
Yeah, we're starting at 0.
Yeah, let me.
It's about like 3-4 seconds before the logo shows up for
Yeah,
Paramount.
I might not make it all the way through the film because it's 2:30 in the morning here. So if you see me disappear, that's why.
Whenever you need to bail out, I certainly understand because
I might just fall asleep on camera.
Well, hopefully you don't have to get up early tomorrow.
No, I wouldn't be here now if I did.
Yeah.
Well, if you go back to a few of my rewatches, every now and then I make a weird sound. That's basically me waking up. It's just starting to snore, and I wake myself up.
All right. Well, I'm at 0-0. So 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, Paramount Picture, Gulf and Western Company. I say that to let everybody know where I'm at. Paramount Pictures present. I always love that segue between the Paramount logo and that mountain.
Yeah, they've done that in all the films, haven't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was just so perfect. And
Apart from the crystal skull with the molehill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the when they came out on Blu-ray, when Lucasfilms put out this on Blu-ray. I always say I have 3 Indiana Jones movies and then a free coaster.
I mean, the fourth one's not that bad, is it?
I have to watch it again. I've only seen it once. I
Well,
really do need to go back and give it another shot.
I have not seen it, so
You've not seen the 4th film?
no. There's only 3, right?
You know, Birdman, maybe I'll have to get you on my channel and we'll watch the 4th one together.
So you're not going to watch 5 then?
I know everything that happens in it.
It was just so disappointing when you think of all the things that you could do with an Indiana Jones movie, and
yeah, but regardless, you still got to see it for yourself.
Yeah,
it's true.
And Shia LaBeouf was terrible. Just terrible. He looked bored the entire time, like he did not want to be there.
He always looks bored in everything he does.
Yeah, I don't know why people are so. Yeah, I want him in my film.
The only film I've ever seen Shia LaBeouf do that I actually thought he was good in was the Peanut Butter Falcon.
I've not seen it.
It's an obscure little kind of weird independent film, but I actually liked him in that. I mean, he's not the greatest, but he was tolerable. But it's a good film. I enjoyed that film.
Let's talk about happy things tonight, like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right.
Look at that.
One of the most perfect films ever made.
Well, the introduction when you first see Indiana Jones just one of the top introductions of all the movies. Just when he comes out there and his jaw is so square and he's just taking out the guy who's about to shoot him, and he just seems like a real man, real adventurer.
Don't know if he's a good guy or not though, because the music's kind of ominous, and he just like bullwhipped the dude, like he's about to do right now.
Yeah. This may be. I think it may be the best action adventure movie of all time. It's just so perfectly put together.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There's a bullet.
It definitely is the definition of action adventure film. It is the prototype.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of it's like they took all of the elements. It's kind of like the Goldfinger of action movies. Like Goldfinger is the distillation of all the James Bond movies and what made them all good. And this is taking everything that had come from the past and just put them all into one movie and took all of the best parts of all of those and just built on it and just put them in the right order at the right timing with fantastic music and acting and everything else that you could and just puts them all together. It was just I don't know what they were drinking back then in 1981, but give it to all the filmmakers so they make movies like this again.
I think what you're trying to say is this is to action adventure what Die Hard is to Christmas films, right?
God. I will respect you. It is your channel.
I appreciate that.
Even if you are wrong.
Whatever.
The eternal struggle. But, you mentioned casting, the cast and characters. I still say this would not nearly have been as successful of a franchise if Tom Selleck had somehow went through with the role.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it would have been a good film, but I think there would have been that spark missing somehow. Harrison Ford has just got, he is Indiana Jones more than he is Han Solo to me.
Wow. I feel like he gets the character. He understands who he's playing and who Indiana Jones is. Because Indiana Jones, let's face it, Indiana Jones gets his butt kicked all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And he is not the complete hero. He has to go through things and he has to experience them and get beat up before he's able to win in the end.
Yeah, he's not a quote unquote Mary Sue type of a character.
No, not at all.
He doesn't get everything right. He makes mistakes. He has weaknesses and fears and
what?
I mean, my favorite line in this film is like a lot later when he's like, "It's not the years, it's the mileage."
Yeah. Yeah, the older you get, the more you appreciate that. By the way.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's basically become a motto of mine. It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. And also just costume design. They did it perfect. He looks like an adventurer. Right colors. The
Actually,
jacket.
it might be kind of fun to go back and see if like archaeologists and people in that field started to dress like this, like if the fedora market shot up in the early 80s because of this.
I'm sure it did. To this day, I mean, like one of the biggest selling fedoras, I think, is the one that comes with the little Indiana Jones button on it or pin or whatever it is.
I was pricing the hat from the hat maker in London that made this hat. It's called the Poet. That's the model of the hat. I thought it'd be cool if I could get one for like Ian and Eric and myself, because we do the Batman show every week. And I was like, oh, these are like $800 a piece. Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, you might want to stick with like the mass production one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even right here, you see Indiana Jones is about to make his first mistake. He's not perfect. He doesn't get it right, but he figures out a way to get out.
Need to get a reproduction of that idol.
They made one. I think Sideshow made one a couple years back.
Yeah, because you can get a Ark of the Covenant too. That'd be kind of neat to have on the table. Nice little centerpiece.
There's a guy making them. You can buy offline. It's not cheap though.
Yeah. Well, you can get like little ones on Amazon too. I mean, not perfect, but something for the shelf.
They need a plushie. They need a plushie of that.
Very trusting, very dumb.
Well, he doesn't have much of a choice. Doesn't have much time.
That's true.
Retro Reels, when you were a child, did you ever play Indiana Jones in the backyard?
Yeah, swinging from trees and stuff. You're saying about the hats. You can buy the leather jackets as well.
Yeah.
They even do them like pre-distressed.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to get one of those jackets, it's got to be all worn out and torn up. Very dusty. Yeah, this is. I actually saw this for the first time in IMAX. They had a showing. First time I saw it in the theater. This is this spring, so or maybe it was last fall when theaters were still mostly shut down. But they showed this. You know, they weren't getting any new movies in, but they showed this, and that was the first time I saw this on the big screen, and it did not disappoint. It was so much. It's just so much fun. Just watching this in Belloc. I mean, just a great film.
Did it look good? And IMAX?
It did not. I mean, I don't think that they were showing it in IMAX. I think that they were just showing it on the big screen. It didn't quite look as good as it does now on Blu-ray. I mean, I'm watching this now on a Blu-ray screen. I think this looks better than what the theater did, but it was just neat to see it up on the big screen for the first time.
The 4Ks are great. I've got the set on 4K.
Does it? I have not made the jump from Blu-ray yet.
I love
Greetings,
Belloc
lady
holding
plus
that
size.
idol
How are you?
laughing.
Princess Leia?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. Hello. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Hi there,
Good evening.
plus size. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Al. How are you? And I'm sorry, Al and Daniel. I know you, but who are the other three?
We
Yeah,
got Retro Reels, Chris P, Jedi Masters Utopia.
Oh, okay. So, hello. How are you? Sorry, I'm a little late. I just got in, so I used to be going. Have you already? Looks like we already started. So
Yeah, we're at 11:45. We're about to hear the Raiders March for the first time in the film.
for the first time in the film. So we have already passed the opening sequence where he goes into the temple and the boulder.
He just jumped in the river.
Okay, all right, we're at that part, and he's calling for the to bring down the airplane, and yeah, okay,
Just grab the airplane.
Okay, all right, I'll pick it up right from there. Okay, I'm doing well because look at the conversation going to me.
And we got Frank Marshall flying the airplane.
Yes, and at the time I did not know that was Frank Marshall until much later that I read that. Oh, that was Frank Marshall that was doing that little piece in that little cameo right there. You know, when I first saw this in the theater, I was wowed by that opening sequence. You know, as a kid, you know, in elementary school, and I knew who Harrison Ford was because I think this came after Empire Strikes Back, and I was a Han Solo fan, so I knew who he was when I saw like the trailers and the movie, but didn't know really what the movie was about. But I got to tell you something: George Lucas and Steven Spielberg back then knew how to open a movie because that whole sequence with him going in there chased by the boulder just got my attention from the start, and I knew that this is going to be a wild ride. He gets in.
I mean, I know he was only on the screen for that little bit, but I have they ever expanded on the story of Jacques and his snake Reggie at all?
And
In
the
any
comic
of the
book.
novels, the comics they did. I always thought he would be an interesting character. There's a
Yeah.
bigger story behind that.
If you read the Marvel comic book, it expanded on pretty much everyone from the movies. At some point, they made an appearance in the comic.
I thought he was being in the movie more because when we first met him, I thought he was going to be Indy's sidekick or something that was going to follow him on the adventures. That's what I thought he was, but I didn't know that was an expansion on it. But that's what I took from that he was his sidekick or something.
Do y'all wish they had made more, like, in a perfect world, there had been an Indiana Jones movie like every 3 years? Would that have made everyone happy, you think?
I think it would
that
have
would have been
diluted
more
it too
fun.
much.
Every 3
Well,
years would be too much. Really? Every 3
No,
years.
I think 3 years is a good gap.
Yeah, I think that's a good gap. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Right.
It worked for the first Star Wars films, and
Yeah, because with Star Wars, there was a good gap because there was a good gap to Empire because when Empire was announced, I was really, really excited. But my God, it seemed like it was forever to get to Return of the Jedi. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I'm just waiting. I'm just meaning it was a good wait because
of
when
that
it was announced-
cliffhanger.
Right. Yeah. That's what it was, Al. My God, it was such a big wait. I thought, oh my God. And back then, you know, it wasn't like it is now where you know every little detail about shooting and what's happening on set. I don't know about you guys, but I was reading magazines trying to find out, is there any behind the scenes pics or any details or information on what the movie was about? And I didn't know it.
Different world back then.
Much different. And I'm like, does anybody know anything about what the film is going to be about? And now, do you think we're oversaturated with that? Because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about, do you think we're oversaturated with that? Do you think we need to go back to pulling back a little bit when a movie is
Definitely.
shooting until the studio is ready to release a trailer? Do you think there's too much? I think we need to go back to that.
Yeah, I
agree,
think
actually.
Yes.
The thing is, these days there's such a big, you know, because everything's everywhere. There's such a bigger fight to get your film in front of eyes, whereas before you'd go to the cinema to watch films. Now you've got, you know, on demand and everything else, and so much more choice, and people aren't going to cinemas as much. You need to get it in. I think that's why it is how it is because it's all part of the marketing, and you need to get awareness out there.
Can we get a little shout out for Porkins here from Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also in Batman, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played Eckhart, and then he was in Flash Gordon. He played Munson.
Yeah.
Are we at at Indy the Professor? Or have we passed? I'm trying to catch up, but are we at the Indy the Professor scene yet?
He's talking to the guys from the government, talking about
Okay.
tennis.
Okay, we're at the okay.
he has not opened the Bible yet, though.
Okay.
But you're talking about anticipation for films and stuff. Like I said, I remember back when Empire came out. It came out only in like select theaters, and you had to wait. I had to wait like a good month to see that film before it got into like more rural areas. Thankfully,
Yeah.
I was driving by the time Return of the Jedi came out. I was able to drive to it, but I still had to drive a good hour and a half to go see it.
Yeah, this was the time where a wide opening was 500 locations, and if there were 800 locations, you had to wait until one of those 500 got released their film and sent it to your one of the other ones that were left. So
yeah, I remember when Empire came to my theater, the copy didn't show up for the first showing, which I was waiting for. I was like, "Grr." So I had to come back to a later showing to see it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't. I was just going to say, yeah. When I cannot remember if I went opening weekend. I think I did, but it was out. It was at a theater that was out. I know my father had to drive us. Most of the family had to convince the family to go see it because he had not seen my father had not. I don't remember my father seeing the first one yet. He was till later. But I do remember we had to drive a little bit of a distance to the theater that was showing it. But, Al, I didn't catch all that when I was younger. I'm from that age, and probably all of you, where you looked in the newspaper to get the date and time. And we did have to go to a theater that was a little bit farther out. I hadn't realized that was selected theaters, but we did have to go. It wasn't too long on a drive, but it was quite a ways to get to that particular theater. And this was a theater that was like a deluxe. Before it was a grand theater before grand theaters were a big thing. And thank God, because it was, I think I went that first week because I was so anxious to see it because I knew what it was. And I remember telling my father, "What is Empire Strikes Back?" I said, "That's a sequel to Star Wars. It's a sequel to this one." And so,
well, you're talking about far out. In the county I live in, we had 3 theaters. 2 were ones that would show first runs, and the other was kind of get older films.
Yeah.
So we don't, like I said, 2 films that were coming out, and you would hopefully get one of the big ones.
Yeah, that's about the same with mine. Where I lived at, closer to me was theaters that had older films, but newer films were in the suburbs. So we had to drive out to a suburb to see the newer films.
I love his car on here. God, I love an old car like that. But you were talking about newspaper. I was mentioning at the beginning when you had that newspaper and you had that full big page ad of the poster.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And at the bottom there was like this theater and at this time and all the other stuff.
Well, I was going to say we were big in Fancy Town. We had 2 movie theaters, and they each had 3 screens on them. So we were big and fancy back then.
Yeah, like I said, ours just had 1 screen. Each theater had 1 screen. It was just 1 big screen. We did have a drive-in for a while though, but it closed in the early 80s.
Yeah, same thing here. I lived by a drive-in. And we didn't have to, and we didn't live far from it because it wouldn't take us long to drive through it. But I don't think they ran too many up-to-date movies. But we would go there. Eventually, it did close down. But we would go there sometimes. And I know my parents like to go there. I think they love to go to the Friday night matinees. And I think I saw my first Dawn of the Dead movie at one of those drive-ins. I'm serious. They wanted to see a zombie picture, and I saw my first one there. But
this would have been a great drive-in theater film.
Oh yes. I think it was. Yeah, it would have been so good.
I don't think I
double feature with what?
It.
What would you pair this with?
Funny. The first thing that came to my mind was Charles Bronson's Death Hunt. Anybody see that? Death Hunt.
Death Hunt. I don't know. I've seen Death Hunt.
Yeah, it's called Death Hunt. He's accused of. They think he's a murderer, and he kind of like goes on the run, and it's in the north. It's like winter, snow. And like trapper, he's kind of like a trapper kind of guy. I think it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's a pretty cool film. It's got Lee Marvin and Andrew Stevens as in it, chasing him.
But this might be good paired up with like a Dirty Harry movie. Maybe if you showed one of those, kind of like a Clint Eastwood continuation movie, and this one is where you're building your own world, and that might be good. Oh yeah, maybe Dirty Hardy might be a little bit too dark.
I still say the best drive-in double feature I ever saw was the original Star Wars and then War of the Worlds, 1953.
Oh, there you go.
That was a double feature.
I love the War of the Worlds. I saw that on. If anybody's from the Chicago area, that they had the Saturday Family Movies, and they would show old movies, and the War of the Worlds was in that rotation. They'd show.
She was so beautiful.
She's still good looking for her age, Al.
That's true. True.
I'm
just
ashamed of you.
I am admiring the one that's on the screen at this moment.
Yeah,
I think she's better looking now than what she was then.
Maybe that's a reason to watch the last Indiana Jones movie.
Exactly.
Karen Allen. You're talking about Karen Allen. We're talking about Karen Allen here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, she's aged well. She has. She still look good. She aged well in this one. She had great chemistry with Harrison Ford in this too. That's why I think we loved her so much in this one.
Yeah. Well, she's by far the best female lead that they had in these.
Yes,
they
I
really
agree.
kept her through all of them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I was disappointed that she was not in the second one.
Well, originally Indiana Jones was supposed to be like a James Bond type character, so each movie was supposed to get, like a new woman and have a new adventure. And
is that the way they wrote him, to be James Bondish? Like,
yeah, they were trying to do like a take on James Bond, because Steven Spielberg wanted to do a Bond film, but Broccoli didn't want to hire him, and George Lucas said, "Well, hey, I got a better idea. I have this archaeology adventurer named Indiana Smith," and Steven Spielberg said, "Smith? How about Jones?" And they're like, "Okay."
What a great shot with that silhouette on shadow on the wall.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that was so cool. Was that in the trailer?
The lighting in this scene is fantastic.
Yes.
And you can just tell, like, these are the stories that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg wanted to tell. Like, this is what they imagined a movie was like when they were kids, and they were finally bringing it up on the screen. And that there's just, so much love and care put into this. And the soundtrack, I mean, John Williams just knocks it out of the park with this. I have no idea how he came up with that, but it just fits everything, and just the costumes and all that. It's just fantastic adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. They took what they loved about what they saw in the cinema and embodied it into this character.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you guys, what hero type would you put Indiana Jones in? Is he inspirational? Is he aspirational? Is he a anti-hero? Where does he fall?
Vulnerable.
I think he kind of falls in more anti-hero, maybe, because he's not really doing this. He's doing it for personal glory and for money. So he's not really doing it to save things.
He's got a little bit of a trickster in him as well, and frontiersman maybe.
Yeah, you guys are right. It seemed I never could figure him out about. I know Professor Deakins did many videos about hero archetypes, but I always said to myself, I don't know where to put Indiana Jones. And I don't mean it's a bad thing, but it just seemed like, because I know Lucas is good at creating heroes, or we know with Luke Skywalker is the hero's journey, but he came up with Indy, and I'm wondering, where does Indy fall? Because if he's definitely not a Luke Skywalker type. So
he's a bit like everyman, isn't he?
Maybe
yeah,
like
that's a good word.
Kind of a rogue. He's got a little bit of everything. I don't know if he doesn't encapsulate one.
He's a lot closer to John McClane in Die Hard.
Okay.
Where he's just kind of in
who's a Christmas hero, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Buttons pushed.
A lot of people don't know that Raiders of the Lost Ark is a Christmas movie. A lot of people don't
Is
realize.
it?
No, I'm making that up just for Al.
Man. Are you sure? I mean, we can make an argument for this somehow. I'm sure.
Well, there's snow in Nepal here.
There's
right
snow. Yeah, it's always Christmas time in Nepal, right?
now. Right.
I will give you this. It's as much a Christmas movie as Die Hard.
No,
Yes.
no, no.
It's
What
interesting.
timestamp have you guys got? I had to
It's-
switch.
It's interesting that you all say he's a little bit of everything. Like I heard trickster. I would say that there is a slight tricksterness in him. But it's interesting because there isn't really it's not really a hero's journey. Is there a hero's journey for him in Raiders, or is it something else? Because
Maybe more so in Temple of Doom.
Yeah, Temple of Doom there is. I don't think that he is the same person at the beginning of this movie as he is at the end. I don't think that there's much of a change in Indiana Jones.
What's the time on your video, Birdman?
I'll get to that when we get to like midway through the film, because there's a section of the movie where I question that. But go ahead.
I think Retro is asking for a timestamp.
I got 29:34.
I'm slightly ahead. I was watching on the computer and I had to switch because it gave up. I'm watching on my TV now.
Is it because he's a little bit of everything that makes him appealing? Because it's very difficult to write a hero that's a little bit of everything, because sometimes you just don't know what to identify with. But was it smart on Lucas? I think, do Lucas and Spielberg share creating this character, or was this character all created by Lucas?
Oh, I think it's definitely a combination. But I think what makes him different and special is that he gets his butt kicked all the time, and he shows it. I mean, Al was saying earlier that his favorite line. What'd you say your favorite line was, Al?
It's not the years, it's the mileage.
Mileage.
That if you had to sum up Indiana Jones's theme, it's that. It's that he just he just keeps getting beat up, but he keeps getting up. He keeps going back and doing it. But I think that if you were a guy watching this back then, you're like, yeah, I would love to be chased by a boulder, but you better believe at the end I'd be tired. And
Yeah.
that's where you get the relatability.
Now I looked up Indiana Jones archetype, and of course all kinds of different stuff, but some keywords that keep popping out: explorer, pioneer, guide, seeker, hero, but adventurer. So it's kind of all that. I don't know if there's like a particular.
Well, I think if at least for me growing up, Indiana Jones and Luke Skywalker were probably the two people that I latched onto the most, and those were like, yeah, those are the people that when I grow up and decide what I want to be, that's what I want to be. I want to be Indiana Jones with a lightsaber.
Wow.
There's Pat Roach, who plays two characters in this film.
Yep.
That was Johnny Walker, wasn't it? That's what the label looked like, anyway.
I've always wondered why this fight scene is unscored.
Yeah, we haven't heard too much of it before.
I keep wondering if somewhere there's like music that John Williams wrote for this, and they decided to cut it just for the sound design.
The sound design is as good as Star Wars in these films, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did they have Birdman? I don't know if you know this or not, but would they release the score to this before the movie come out, and everybody would, or at least the people who wanted to would get excited about, oh, I can't wait to hear the score for that? Or were they just like, No, it's the next John Williams. I'm excited about that, but I don't know what I'm going to hear until I get there.
I don't know when the soundtrack for this was released. I would imagine it was around the same time. But like Retro and I were talking not so long ago about, sometimes you get spoilers with soundtracks. And I remember with Phantom Menace, it came out like a week or so before the film. And there were some spoilers if you read the track titles.
Yeah.
But
When
on the
when I was
original
working
Trader soundtrack, there weren't really any spoilers from the names.
when I was working at Borders, soundtracks would usually come out like the Tuesday before the release, or sometimes just the Tuesday after. Tuesday was the big release day for music. But
Yeah, I
they
don't know
always,
how it is in the States, but over here we have
they always
most
hovered
cinema
around
releases
that.
on a Friday and then record releases on a Monday. So that makes sense. They would have wanted it to be in stores for the weekend after it come out. Therefore, it would have been like a week earlier. Or a few
Ian
days.
and I were talking about Star Wars. He had the soundtrack and the storybook LP almost a year before the film got to Great Britain. And he'd been listening to it for almost a year. And I said, did that ruin the movie for you? And he's like, no. I was still just as excited.
Yeah, we didn't get Star Wars. Wasn't on like general release until 78. I think it was December 77 it came to like London.
According to Wikipedia, the soundtrack for this came out the same month that the film did. So it didn't give a date for the soundtrack. I'm sure it's out there somewhere though.
Well, they didn't need to be as careful because stuff didn't end up on the internet as soon as somebody bought it. So
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody puts it out a week before in Kmart or whatever, it wasn't a big deal.
John Rhys Davis is supposed to be in the new film, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
How old is he now? He's
I don't know.
because he's got to be
hold on.
30s
I'll
in
look it up.
here.
He was in also
He
in
is
King Solomon's Mines, wasn't he?
He is
Oh,
78.
78.
Yes, he was in King Solomon's Mine, right, Birdman?
Yes, that was
Ian
such an
Clark's favorite movie.
amazing film.
It was fun. It was a film.
That's what
It
the
was
double
filmed,
push should be.
yep.
Raiders and King Solomon's Mines.
Yeah, it was one of those copycat films that came out in the 80s.
I think some TV shows came out after this movie came out. I know one was
Tales
called
of the Golden Monkey.
Monkey. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
Tales of the Golden Monkey. I liked that show. I didn't think
I
that
did
show.
too.
Yeah, I liked that show. That was a pretty
He had
good
that.
show.
He had that dog. Yeah, I always liked that little dog he had.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I thought his name was Jack or something.
Yeah.
That's how popular Raiders was. That it spun off. TV shows were copying it. I remember how huge it was. We all know how huge this film was back then when word of mouth. When I think a lot of it back then was word of mouth got out. I didn't see it the first week. I actually went to see it the second week. I had to wait for my parents to have some time off to take us to the movie.
Well, I remember when the third one came out because I think it was one of the first ones that didn't open up on a Friday. It opened up on a Thursday, and I went after school on a Thursday to go see it. So this was before Thursday night showings became real popular.
Yeah. Summer of '89, like the first, what I would call the first modern summer blockbusters.
Yeah. Because that was the summer of Batman.
Yep. Ghostbusters 2, License to Kill, Dead Poets Society, UHF. What else came out this summer? The Abyss came out that summer.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, that was an amazing summer.
So this one's what? How old is this? 42? Was it there? The
Let's
42
not figure out how old this movie is. Okay.
Was this 80 or 81? Maybe this was
81.
81. June of 81.
Yeah, because Empire was 80. This was 81. Jedi was
E.T.
83,
was 82. Jedi was 83.
and Temple of Doom was 84.
84. The music makes this scene a lot more comedic. You could have scored this differently and have a much harsher tone.
Do you like the comedic element?
I love this piece
score?
of music. I love this piece of music. I would not change this for nothing.
Yeah.
Because because they make it comedic, especially when like the guy stabs it and he's got fruit hanging off the back out of his back from the sword.
Yeah, I think it's the music that really lets you know it's a comedy, because I think without the music, you would think it would play serious, and you would be like, why is why is the fruit coming off there? But I think that it also kind of, with our kind of shows our German friends to be a little comedic too, and how he kind of treats them. So because they come off like that, and I think that's what Spielberg was trying to do, is kind of make them come off as ridiculous.
Darn monkey!
Yeah, I think as a kid, I never quite understood I was like, why is the monkey being so mean? He's ruining everything. Be a good monkey.
And we get this thing because Harrison Ford was very, very sick this day.
Yep.
By the way, this is a good reason why, like when Lucas starts moving into all green screen and stuff for the prequels, why something like this wouldn't have happened or doesn't happen on the prequels. But it's this going on location, doing stuff, and just having stuff happen. The camera doesn't work right that day. The film isn't right. And you as a director having to figure out, how do I do this? And, on this day, your actor's sick. How do I film the scene? And
everyone got sick during this filming except for Steven Spielberg, because he brought his own food with him out of cans.
Yeah, which was smart. But yeah, it's just figuring out how to work the stuff, and I think that's why even the I think that's why something like Top Gun Maverick worked so well this summer. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, this is spectacular. And when you have to go on scene and you have to have all these extras, stuff happens, and it creates something that is better than what you had intended. Which my guess is that none of them, neither Spielberg nor Lucas, thought that this was going to be a big, huge movie. It was just going to be a fun thing that they were going to do that they would have liked as a kid. And I doubt, just like Star Wars and all that and Jaws, and nobody knew that this was going to be such a big movie that we're talking about sequels to it 40 years later.
We got a comment in the chat from Go Team Ghost Planet saying it's sad that Disney is ruining Indiana Jones.
Well, we don't know that yet, so let's be optimistic.
Exactly.
I'm playing the odds, though.
It's easy to despair, but I'm hopeful. And until I see the final product, at least the trailer, and maybe some reviews on YouTube. But I'm hopeful. This is John Williams' final film. This is Harrison Ford's final film, so they say. So I'm going to be optimistic until I have hardcore reason in front of me to not be optimistic.
Are you actually going to watch it though, Birdman?
Yes, I will be there opening night dressed up. I feel.
Why didn't you watch 4 then?
Do what?
Why didn't you watch part 4?
I wasn't impressed with the trailer. I had a bad feeling about it, and I talked to some friends, and they didn't have much good to say about it, and I just never went back to watch it.
I don't know how you do that. You've,
I don't
regardless
either.
of what's said, you've got to find out for yourself.
You're right.
Oh, sounds like you have a future stream.
Birdman's afraid to get out of the refrigerator.
I'm not. The refrigerator scene didn't bother me, and this is why, because the raft scene in Temple of Doom didn't bother me.
Yep.
And because the submarine scene in this movie doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
So why should I be? I'm not going to nitpick the refrigerator thing. I'm like, yeah, I can say it happened in Indiana Jones.
I mean, a big thing with me on my channel when I always encourage people to watch it and make up their own minds.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But don't not watch it because of what other people are saying.
Well, as with most things, you usually watch the next one based on your reaction to the last one. So if you like the last one, then you're probably going to go see the next one. If you don't like the last one, you're probably not going to go see the next one.
I can see that.
Paul Freeman was a great villain.
I wonder if he. What? Remember that? I know we haven't got to that point yet, but you're familiar with the scene where the fly goes into his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if he regrets just carrying on doing that. It's like immortalised in film forever now, isn't it? He'd have just gone blah and redone the take.
It's those happy accidents that happen on set.
Yep.
Well, was it a happy accident for him? I bet he regrets it.
Just a little bit of protein.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he played Ivan Ooze in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Oh, did he? I didn't even know that.
I was reading Ivan Ooze in the Power Rangers movie.
Okay.
The original Mighty Morphin one.
Yeah, they kind of had to set up because really the main bad guy in here is Belloc, or at least the competent bad guy, and the Germans are the comedic ones, except for now I'm forgetting his name. What is his name?
Sala?
No, the
All right.
guy who melts at the end. What's his name?
Coke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronald Lacey is the actor.
Yeah. He was the one that the only competent German in here.
I don't know. That mechanic was pretty good at beating up Indiana Jones.
But this is, I can understand why. I mean, this movie has been copied and so many times and how it is, but I can understand why people get it wrong, because they think that this movie is about, oh, you find MacGuffin A, that leads you to MacGuffin B, that leads you to MacGuffin C. So until you get to the Ark, and that's not what the movie is about. It's far more about Indiana Jones as a person and who he is, and his ups and downs and what he's going through, rather than what the plot and the structure is. All of that stuff is just bells and whistles that make it fun, but it's really, every action scene he gets hurt, every action scene he gets a little bit more beaten down, but he keeps getting back up and going on. And even when Marion dies, or he thinks that she dies, sorry, spoilers.
Wait! What? She doesn't die?
that Indiana Jones just gets up and goes back, and that's where, if you're going to build your hero and make him be heroic, that's what you need to do. You need to knock him down a whole bunch before he finally wins in the end. And I don't think people think Raiders of the Lost Ark, oh, it's about a lost ark, it's about this religious thing, or it's about this adventure thing, and it's not. It's about the character.
There's a cut scene in here where the old man talks about there's a warning on the headpiece that says not to look upon the power of God from the Ark of the Covenant, and that's how Indiana Jones knows at the end of the film to not look. But I don't know why they couldn't have left that in. I mean, we're talking about like a 30-second clip of dialogue.
I was about to say that, Birdman. It's also in the movie tie-in book.
Yeah, the novelization. Chris P., did you read the Rob McGregor Indiana Jones books that came out in the 90s?
No.
It's like a little series of books that they published over a couple of years. They were pretty good. If you're an Indiana Jones fan, I would recommend them.
Well, he also wrote the
I heard somewhere there was
of Last Crusade.
Yeah, he did. I heard somewhere there was like one or two books that were published in Germany but never got a U.S. print run. And I was like, well, if I remember my German a little bit better, I would track them down. But I have not studied German in like 20-something years.
You don't need to these days, do you? You just point your phone out with Google Translate and it automatically translates it for you.
Yep. Well, that.
And now they're getting universal translators where you say something in it and then it.
Everyone talks American now.
Did anybody else have the Atari game for this, the 2600?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not the best game. That's all I know to say. Anybody have the toys besides me?
You know, I don't remember getting any.
We didn't really get them over here.
Indiana Jones toys.
Kenner put them out. It's a Will of Souls playset, Map Room playset, Streets of Cairo, Desert Truck, the Arabian Horse, and that was it for the playsets. There was Indiana Jones in desert garb like this, Indiana Jones in German disguise, Belloc in ceremonial robes, Tote, Cairo swordsman, and Marion Ravenwood in that white dress, and that's the most valuable figure now out of all of them, Marion Ravenwood. If you got it carded, woo! You got some money.
So was the Cairo playset just a bag of sand?
Pretty much.
The only thing I remember of the toys was a commercial for the action figures, and I remember Tote. His right hand had the burn in it.
Yeah,
from where he grabbed the headpiece.
You back, Princess Leia? Princess? I think she's here.
Well, she's on the screen. She may not have audio yet.
Now, this track, Map Room at Dawn, it's one of the best Indiana Jones tracks John Williams has given us.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't leave this off the original soundtrack. That would have been a crime. They left too much off that soundtrack, but at least this made it.
Has he said anything about how he came up with the music for this, or talked about?
Not that I've ever seen in an interview.
Because
he wrote like two versions of the theme, And Spielberg liked both of them. He said, "Well, just mash them together," and that's what we got basically.
Because this is I mean, I think that this and Superman are his two best and most complete scores. You know, the you know, his other ones are great, but I just think all of the side themes and Marion's theme and everything that he, I don't know if he was just at the top of his game or if he just saw this and loved it more than any of the others or what. But from beginning to end, I don't know that there's a flawless note.
No.
Yeah, this theme here is, I mean, it's just that anticipation and the mysticism. It's all interwoven into it.
I don't know if he went back and listened to themes from earlier action movies or adventure movies, like Spielberg and Lucas kind of based these on previous action movies that they saw as kids. If he went back and listened to some and applied that or what, but he just top of the game here.
Always like the little notebooks that he's writing in, and
I suppose it's kind of a tie into his father's notebook in the third movie.
mm-hmm.
Whether that was intentional or not. He's asking for water, by the way. Yeah, sorry I spoiled this moment for you, Birdman.
It's okay. I'll forgive you this time.
I'll try not to spoil Empire Strikes Back for you. Yeah, I don't remember any of the toys or anything. You know, I remember that I had this thing that I used as a whip, and I got that taken away from me because really the only target I had was my brother. So
Oh,
I used to have I don't know, it was like a pole, and I put like a rope on it, and I would go out in the backyard and like just kind of whip at the branches of trees and stuff.
the
yeah,
whip
stuff like
used
that.
in the movie is a kangaroo skin whip, and you cannot import kangaroo skin to America.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Never had a burning desire to have kangaroo skin too, so I'm glad I'm okay on
It's
that.
it's supposed to be the best leather for a bullwhip.
That's what I've heard too.
Well, my guess is that if we got addicted to that, all of a sudden everybody would want kangaroos would quickly become extinct.
Yeah. Hello, Johnny. How are you tonight? He says Raiders score a testament on how badass the London Symphony brass section is. Bring it, my friend. Yes. And this is the only score that the London Symphony has done. They didn't do Temple of Doom or Last Crusade or Crystal Skull. So. Yeah, especially at the end, like the Miracle of the Ark, those high notes from the brass section. I never want to hear that done by a piece of shit orchestra. I would I'll have to burn something to the ground. Does everybody on here have the expanded soundtrack, by the way?
I don't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well,
No. Chris P.
Nope. Don't have it.
Zootopia.
No, I don't think so.
And Al, you said no.
No.
Thank you, Johnny. Johnny's got it. Johnny's cool. He's part of the Cool Kids Club. He's got a copy of it.
there you go.
Retro's. There we go. Retro's in the Cool Kids Club. Well, gentlemen, not tonight, but sometime within the next 6 months, I will send y'all a copy of the extended soundtrack.
Ooh. Thank you.
Thank you for 2
Very
years,
cool.
my friend.
Well, thank you.
Very cool. Thank you.
But you all know how long it takes me to mail anything else. Don't be expecting it next week. Princess Leia, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. I've been having a little hiccup with my internet, so sorry about that.
It's fine. I understand how that goes.
Thanks. If it goes out again, then you know that I'm having a little hiccup. But
Just
I'm back
come on
with
back.
you.
I'm happy to add you back in.
Thank you.
Do
You're not
you have
Florida, are you?
the extended
And there it goes
Lost
again.
Ark soundtrack? Princess Leia?
She just said there it goes again.
No. Okay.
I'm here. I'm here now.
Yeah. Do you have the extended Raiders of the Lost Ark soundtrack?
I don't have the extended soundtrack. I don't. I didn't know there was an
Well,
extended.
I
When
will
did they
get you a copy and send it to you in the near future. So
Oh, well, that's sweet of
you can be a
Thank you.
member of the Cool Kids Club like Retro, Johnny, and myself.
Of course. Of course. And I love how you dress up for these occasions. You have your dinner jacket on
Yeah.
and you are ready.
Well, when I started doing this, everything was shut down, and I was just so missing going out to concerts. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can at least dress up for YouTube.
The Birdman is one of the best dressed YouTubers out there.
And I
Yes.
also don't have the dad bod to just rock a t-shirt, so I gotta admit, put forth some effort.
That's okay. I appreciate that you come dressed up for the occasion. Because every time when you invite me here for these screenings, I said he is always dressed to the nine. he is ready as a good host. He is a good host.
Yeah, but from like the waist down, I've got on like ratty camo pants and Doc Martens because nobody sees me.
Classic
All right,
line.
it's better to look good than to feel good.
That's true, maybe.
You go first. Oh, good on you, Sala.
Did any of y'all watch the Young Indiana Jones TV show?
I did. I
Yeah.
watched that.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember
I
much
was-
about it, but
Yeah. I was like the ones with the teenager one.
Yeah, much more than the 8-year-old. Yeah,
Which they
Or
kind
how-
of dropped that after a while.
yeah. They said they had done a third season. They were going to introduce Belloc.
And I remember the one where Harrison Ford did his guest star on it.
He played what was it, an alto sax?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had who was the old guy who was 90 years old. He played an older version of
Yep.
of
With the eye patch. Yeah.
I guess that's not canon anymore.
Canon is what you choose. I mean,
Then I choose to forget about the fourth movie.
you can if you want to. It did give us a good John Williams score. So
nice back. I like a back on a woman.
I like all parts of a woman.
Well,
Back, front.
there is something about the curve of the back. I don't know, there's something I like about it. Shoulder blades,
Arms. I like nice arms.
A rosy hue.
Yeah, so that was her action figure right there in that dress. And I would recommend you go to eBay, just try to find one, and let me know what they're going for.
Yeah, I don't remember the toys for this too much.
Yeah, they just didn't do good. Then when Temple of Doom came out, Kenner passed on the license. I think LJN got the Temple of Doom license. They were going to do 5 figures. They were doing Indy, Short Round, Malaram, Thuggy Guard, and Willie, and they only did Indiana Jones, Malaram, and the Thuggy Guard. They didn't do Short Round and Willie. It just they didn't do on. And then Last Crusade, no one did toys for Last Crusade. And I think 2007 or 8, Hasbro did an Indiana Jones line, and they were pretty good figures. They're decent figures, and they did like all the characters from all the movies. I did not buy any of those for some dumbass reason. But Hasbro's got the license now to make more Indiana Jones figures, and they're going to preview them, I think, Friday or Saturday of this week. So,
I didn't know that.
fingers crossed that they're good.
Yeah, there was a San Diego Comic-Con version of her. Is that the one you're talking about?
Talk about the 1981 Kenner version.
Yeah, I'll see it. We plug in 1981, see if that triggers it.
See, now I would buy like a truck that pulled Indiana Jones along.
They made that.
See that I would get that if I could
Whoa!
find it. I'd get it.
What's it going for?
Oh, here's
1,200?
one. Well, here's one's $10,000.
Oh,
There's
okay.
one $4,000.
Yeah, the last time I looked, I think it was like $1,200. So I'm guessing it's gone up.
That's insane. That's insane in the membrane.
And that's carded, right?
Yeah, they were carded.
Okay. I think the most I would ever do for an action figure would be 1,000, but it would have to be something like just really, really special.
And I would have had to have won the lottery.
Yeah. There other things have to fall in place too.
Like one of my it's not that expensive. I just want to get a Buck Rogers lunchbox with a thermos from the movie.
Yeah, Buck Rogers is an unappreciated TV show.
Yep.
Bill Gerard was great. Aaron Gray was great.
I got to sit and have dinner with Aaron Gray once
You did.
I still hate you.
Nice.
at a convention. Yeah, they Friday night they would have a dinner, and the stars spread around the room, and I went and found my spot, and I'm like, who am I sitting next to? And it said Aaron Gray. I was like, holy crap. And so I got to sit and have dinner with her and chatted with her for a while.
Yeah. What'd you guys talk about?
Wonderful lady. Very nice.
I assume she still looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, gorgeous.
She's got to be about 70 years old now.
It was a big. I think Gil was there that weekend as well. I believe. I think. Or was he at I don't know. I met all the major ones. I met Gil, Aaron, and I met Tom Christopher.
Johnny, do we have to just pick one? He's asking, what's your favorite cue from the Raiders score? I will pass this question on to Chris P. What's your answer?
Favorite cue? Main theme aside, I love the map room. Map room
Okay.
Dawn.
Retro. Same question, different answer?
The March.
Raiders March, okay. Utopia. Utopia.
What was that?
Favorite cue.
Favorite cue. I don't know. There's a lot of them. This one, like I said, this is the most complete one. Complete film. It's probably back in when they did the down where he had the stick and he put the map room.
Map room Dawn.
Yeah. Because it builds and it builds and it builds and you just feel like there's I think without any pictures and you were just listening to it, it would feel like information was being revealed to you. And that's what the map room is. It's revealing information to you. And I think that's one of those things that when you can listen to a piece and get the feeling that the composer is trying to put across to you, that's when you know you've done a good job.
John Williams. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Big Al, what's your answer? And then we'll get Princess Leia's answer.
I'm very much a march kind of guy. I love a film's main theme for that. That to me says everything about a film. But if I had to skew from that, I would definitely go the throne room, the map room. I mean,
Princess Leia.
Okay, are we talking about John Williams in general or just his score for Raiders?
Just for Raiders.
I say the theme when Indy's on screen, whether it's very heroic and going into action or very subtle and small or quiet when he's with Marion. I also like the score, the romantic music that comes in when Marion is on screen. I like all those cues the most. I like the theme when the hero is on screen. John Williams is a master at that. He has a talent like no one else I ever know when he scores, because even if I listen to the soundtrack and I'm not watching the movie, the images of who is on screen at this time or who this music is for comes into my head. So that's what I say for this film. It's Indy's theme or the Raiders theme whenever he's either in action or it's just a subtle moment or he's with Marion. Those cues are really what I like. A cue that lets me know who the character is. And that's what I'm trying to get to. The cues that let me know that this is the character on screen and this is the character's moment.
Yeah, when Indiana Jones first steps into focus and there's that deep bass bump, bump, bump.
Yeah. And you hear that, even in the small moments when it's just him, either he's thinking or he's trying to solve a riddle. You hear those small moments. You know, it's definitely him. Okay, I was going in and out in a minute. Did we get to the part already where he shoots the guy? Did we pass that moment?
We're at 1 minute. I'm sorry, 1 hour 12. 1 hour 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Sealing him in with the snakes.
Oh, he's with this. I just want to say that I knew Harrison Ford was special I'm just going to go back to that scene. I'll come back to this one. When that guy, the swordsman comes out and he just pulls out and shoots that guy. Oh my God, the reaction in the theater when that happened, everybody roaring and clapping. And the thing that I love, everybody said, yeah, I like that because that's what I would do if I was Indy. So maybe Retro was right that they love how he just shot him. That he didn't try to do anything. He just took out his gun and just shot him. That's cool. Now, so we're at the part where he's found the Ark, but it's covered. It's. He sees there's snakes down there.
Yeah, he's down there with Marion, and he's about to climb up the statue and break through the wall.
That's another thing I loved about Indy is that he had a phobia. Most heroes, I love the fact that he's petrified of snakes because I don't like them either. So it was great to see a guy on screen. Maybe it goes back to what Retro says, that has a fear, a literal fear, and he doesn't hide it. Because I probably would freak out too. I saw all the snakes too. And what I love about this part, it goes right into the part with the airplane where they got to get on that airplane and they got to put those Nazis on the airplane. So this is what I love about this film. It's nonstop. The action is nonstop. You get the quiet moments, but it keeps going, and you love it.
Johnny, I'm curious, what's your favorite cue in this film? And David, I'd like to hear your answer as well.
Yep. See, I like when they bring in the march right here.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, I like that part too. That's what I like.
Just can't let go of that shoe.
Johnny says the airplane slot fight, which was not on the original soundtrack pressing. Bastards. Yeah.
You see, I didn't know they had an extended soundtrack for that. I really didn't.
Actually, there's a couple. They did a reissue in, what was it, 95, 96? That's probably the most popular one. They did a box set a couple years back. It's over a decade at this point. There's an LP box set that is the most complete version. That's kind of pricey now in the secondary market. They just did a repressing on the LP. They did a double LP not too long ago. But the second version is probably the most popular one to have. The box set was just an abomination of a joke. So I'm not getting that tonight.
Okay. Okay.
I got to show a little love for the fact that he ripped that dress off the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Well, he was trying to keep the torches burning.
That's true. Kept my torch burning.
Yeah.
I love the design of the flying wing.
David likes the part where, Marion's asking where doesn't it hurt, and he points to his elbow.
Yeah.
So this is they're on and the large guy comes out and wants to fight him, and
Yeah.
and he just wants to get out of there. First he's like, "Oh, come on."
That's Pat Roach again. Man.
Yeah.
Hello, Richard Fulton. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Raiders of the Lost Ark 2-year anniversary. We are at 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 22 seconds.
I just love it. His reaction. He's like, "Oh man."
Yeah, that's what I
That look
yeah.
on his face.
Yeah. Like, oh, come on. Yeah. Seriously, now? Yeah. I want to get out of here.
That one jab. Damn.
See, though, but it's stuff like that where he's he gets punched and he falls down. I don't know that they would let their protagonist do that anymore.
No, I think that's like you said. That makes him unique. I like the fact that he just is like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but okay. That's the thing I love. Most of them be ready to jump in and, show off all their butt skills. But he's like, I just want to get out of here. Come on.
Richard, you do need to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark again. We watch it here every year around this time. Come back next year, we'll do this all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, where does this this film and score rank for you, Birdman? Is this number one?
Number one for what? Like, is it my number one Indiana Jones score? I would rank them all equally. I can't.
Now I'd say, how does it stack up against? You're stuck in a desert island. You only get 3 movies and/or soundtracks to take with you. Is this one?
I look at all 4 as one score. So Birdman logic says
Birdman rules.
Yeah, Birdman rules.
Thing is, how do you know part 4 is a good score when you haven't actually seen the movie? It might not.
I've
for all
got
you
the
know, it might not
soundtrack.
fit at all.
Well,
Yeah,
I do have the soundtrack.
I will say Birdman listens to soundtracks to movies he has never seen.
Yes. Probably, I was going to say half, but well more than half my collection. I've never seen the films.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. How do you know it's a good score? Because it might not fit the film at all. It might be good music, but it might not be a good score.
It's a valid point.
I think what would probably be worse is if you liked the score and then you hated the movie.
I didn't care for Close Encounters of the film. I love the score, though.
You say the same about King Solomon's Mines, yeah, with Jerry Goldsmith's score.
Yeah. Richard, do you think Raiders is more violent than Temple of Doom?
No, a Temple of Doom is really pushing it.
Well, I mean, Temple of Doom is the reason why we have the PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
It's just not. It was also Gremlins. Okay.
Yeah.
See, we didn't
That's
get
right.
an uncut Temple of Doom until about, I think it was 2000. Our version of Temple of Doom is so heavily cut, it's unreal.
What is the rating system in UK?
Universal PG. At the time of this and Temple of Doom, it went from PG straight to 15 and then 18.
Oh wow!
And then when Batman 1989 was the first film to have a 12 rating, and since then we've now got a 12A rating, which means it's suitable for kids. Well, kids can go into the cinema and watch it if they are 12, but you can also take kids younger than 12 if they're with an adult. But yeah, the Temple of Doom got a PG rating over here, and there was loads of it cut out. None of the putting the hand in the chest, pulling the heart out was in it. When Willie gets lowered into the fire, a lot of that was cut, and also when the slave gets lowered in and burns up, that was all cut as well. We didn't actually get it uncut until I think it was 2001.
So are they able to sell it on, well, what have been, I guess, VCR or DVD? Are they able to put it back in there, or is it still rated?
No, it's still rated. It was the
You
same
can't even
cut.
buy the unrated?
We don't have it. There's no such thing as unrated over here. Everything's got to have a certificate.
I love the line he just said sums him up so well. He's like, I don't know, I'm just making it up as I go along.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the delivery of where he says, truck, what truck? I always thought, why is he so mad at a truck? Like he just says it kind of like, what truck? Like, I don't like he says it like it's the equivalent of a snake. I just always thought that was funny.
or Richard Fulton has a quite.
I'm pondering that. Like, have you ever got around
Yeah.
to watching a film and found it wasn't what you expected with the score?
So retro, do they have like different versions of it? Would they have like a 12A and then a also 18 version?
No.
They just show one version.
Yeah, you just get one cut. That's it. And it was only because of Spielberg's reputation that they let it go to PG.
Yeah.
There was one point they were saying it was going to be rated 18 because of the violence in Temple of Doom.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, Temple of Doom, pretty
Oh,
violent.
Wilhelm scream.
Which is
Richard, I'm going to pose that question to the Batman show group, and we're going to have like an entire show on that question because you're just like really stumping my brain tonight with that question. So, coming soon to a Batman show will be the answer to that
the
question.
film that wasn't what you expected with the score.
And this, by the way, is if someone were to ask me what is the best stunt ever filmed, and it's this one where he goes under the truck. I think
Under the truck.
Yeah.
my favorite stunt ever filmed, put on film. I mean, it's just. I remember just the first time I saw it, it was just spectacular. I remember when they talked about it in reviews and things, and they're like, "Wow, this is just so great!" And it is. I mean, and it's just. It's all practical effects, but it's fun. It looks real, and it looks like it hurts, and it just fits in so well with the movie and everything. It's just what makes it one of the most perfect films.
He got so much joy out of wrecking that motorcycle.
Well,
It's like he knew it. He was like, "I'm in a big truck. You're a little teeny motorcycle."
Yeah. You're right about that stunt. That was like the highlight of the film that everybody talked about was you got to see the scene Indy does with a truck. You got to see the stunt with the truck. That is just so spectacular. And like you said, it just shows that it was practical, but it holds up. It really holds up after all these years. It still holds up, even though it was very practical. And it's been the most copied stunt. If look at other movies now, you see people have copied that stunt in their own way. You have seen that stunt done over again. But that was such a big deal. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to see that stunt. You got to see that with the car." That's all we talked about when I went to school the next day. That's all we talked about.
There's some great documentaries with Vic Armstrong, the stuntman that doubled Harrison Ford in most of these movies.
Did he doubled for him in all three of the movies? Did he double for him from all three of the movies?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought his name.
I love how the music.
He has got quite the career in Hollywood too, not just as a stuntman, but second unit director.
He's also got a brother as well. Does a lot of stunts.
I just noticed like how the music changed once he got shot.
Yeah, it got a bit more serious.
It got like way more serious.
And like every year, at the end of the year, when YouTube sends out like your most watched videos for the year and everything, consistently every single year, this is my most listened to track on YouTube.
The Raider score.
The Desert Chase is always number one.
Yeah, that's a cool. Yeah, that's great scoring. I'm telling you, I don't know. John Williams is from another planet. I just don't know how he hits it when he scores these films, and that's what I love about it. You know, each part. You know, what each part's coming up when you hear him score the music.
Why are you listening to this stuff on YouTube if you've got the LPs and the CDs?
I don't carry CDs with me when I go.
Okay, practical answer.
Fair enough.
But now, back in the day, I had that Walkman and a crap ton of AA batteries.
No, yes, I had several too.
Oh God, I go through so many batteries. Oh,
Oh, good to know I'm not alone. I would too. I had to be at the drugstore or whatever handy tool store to find batteries for my Walkman. I played that thing to death.
He's just so mad at him. You made me go into the truck.
Yeah.
Get out.
Ooh, sploosh, sploosh.
The other guy tried to do it to no avail. No, didn't have the finesse to try to swing with the truck.
That's Indy going, I am tired of your shit, Bella.
Yeah.
Subterfuge.
So yeah, they had to have a lot of people in on this. Have that thing open and then push everything together just at the right time. A lot of people in on it.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, my Walkman with me everywhere. I had my Walkman everywhere with me. People thought I was glued to my headset, but music helped me through my day. So I carried it with me.
So Big Al, is this a scene where you wish you had played Sala?
Oh yeah.
Captain Katanga made some appearances in the comic book too.
Well, and he gives probably the best line that sums up Indiana Jones. You are exactly the way I pictured you.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
We need a meme that superimposes your face on here, Big Al.
I like he's gobsmacked by it. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, and his name even matches up. You could do the pun. You could be Sala.
Allah. No, I wouldn't go Allah. That might be Allah.
Funny.
Yeah, this is who was it who said it before the line? Yeah, it's the Al when you said it's the mileage, not the years. I think this scene is. If you had to pick out the scene that sums up Indiana Jones and what he's like, this is it. Because I mean, he's obviously hurt, vulnerable, and he gets hit with a mirror. That's what happens. To him.
That's just what the mirror was funny. And you hear that scream all over. Yeah, all over the ship. That's funny. That really does sum him up best. I think
right now, like all that not testosterone, but all that adrenaline's coming down, so it's all starting to hurt.
Yeah.
There are a few aspects of his character that are very similar to Han Solo.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. Because I think so too. I think that's why is that Harrison Ford's style of acting, or just like you said, just he's good at playing those particular type of characters. Because there is some Solo in there.
Maybe a bit of both, like the style and the character. Have you heard the theory that the Indiana Jones movies are Han Solo dreaming whilst he's frozen in carbonite?
I've heard so much of that. Yeah. A lot of people have come up with a fan theory. I've heard he was whisked off to another universe, or some really strange theories. Yeah.
There you go. There's a comic, The Adventures of Han Solo Frozen in Carbonite.
Yes.
Carbonite dreams.
I saw one fan art where a fan showed Indy digging in a cave and he finds Han Solo frozen in carbonite. Like, well, there's a script right there.
Well, this scene does lead up to the probably only problem that I have with the movie.
What was that?
There's a lot of leaps of logic you can take in movies, and this one has one this scene has one that just leaps a little bit too far, which is, how does Indiana Jones get on the submarine?
Yeah, a lot of people.
If you read the novelization, you will know that they stayed at periscope depth the entire time of the island.
Well, that's a little more unreasonable than him getting on here, because submarines they don't really stay up for that, because that's when they're most vulnerable.
You're right, but at the time, I just told myself, just go with it, even though I know logically.
But also,
have you ever timed it?
It's 1936. They're not at war yet. So it's still technically it's peacetime.
Yeah, it could be, but I honestly when you have these leaps of logic, if you're not noticing them, then that means it's a good movie. That means you're into it.
Right.
So it really wasn't until years later that I was like, how does he stay up there that whole time? And actually, you know what it was? I remember I had the Cracked magazine Indiana Jones thing of the Indiana Jones. I think that may be where that they mentioned it.
Add a little cigarette burn on
Does
top.
anybody know what branch Dietrich is? He's not SS. He's just standard military.
I don't know. I don't know the military ranks that well.
He is an Abwehr officer, German military intelligence service.
Okay. And that's the same stuff from Das Boot, right? Does anybody know?
What? Repeat that?
That's the same stuff that was the sub in Das Boot.
I'm not sure. No, I don't know.
I would imagine that they have to that a studio does not have several submarines available to them, so they probably have to recycle.
Right. I believe,
recycle them a lot.
Yeah. back then, yeah, they didn't have the money, so yeah, they probably had to recycle a lot of sets.
Now, how long was this journey?
See, the submarine's above water right there, guys. See, it's all cool. It's all cool.
It's only 3 hours. Big Al, it's only 3 hours.
He said he got wet no matter what it was. So, yeah. Wee! That's like how he just like falls backwards like that.
Based on that I think I'm about 10 seconds behind.
I feel like that a lot of mornings. It's like, it doesn't fit anymore. I guess in retrospect, it would have been better they had taken it to Germany and opened it up for Hitler in person.
Maybe so.
That would have solved a lot of problems, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yes.
Yeah, right around 1936 probably would have been a perfect time.
Yes. But, you know, what's interesting about that scene is that even though he threatened it, he still couldn't bring himself to roll up the ark. You know, when Bella asked him to when he threatens them to blow it up if you don't give it up, but he wouldn't do it. So either Bella knew him very well, or maybe that's the heroic side of Indy in there, or the Indy with the conscience, because he knew details.
That Bellick knew that, so he used that strength as a weakness.
Right.
His desire for knowledge, the protection of something so valuable.
I think if the shoe's been reversed, I think Belloc would have blown it up.
Yes, that's the difference. Yes.
Yep.
That's the difference.
So
yes, I agree. That's the difference between Indy and Belloc. Hero and villain. Hero would preserve it. Villain would blow it up out of his own selfishness. Would you say was Belloc more about the glory, or what? More than Indy, or
Belloc's about himself.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he has an interest in the historical, but he is much more selfish for the glory, probably money.
Belloc would have like a whole bunch of stolen stuff in his basement, have a room of like stolen paintings and artifacts and things like that he just had for his own personal use. That's I think that's something that Belloc would have that Indy wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indy would put it in a museum. Belloc would put it in his man cave.
Yeah. Yeah, in his home. Yeah. Because it seemed like Indy was always one step ahead of him. Well, Belloc, it's like Indy did all the work and Belloc just like the idea of doing the work, but just took all the glory. But it seemed like Indy was figuring everything out and Belloc was just sitting around drinking wine with the Nazis.
Oh, don't say the word. Oh, Edward.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
The
Sorry.
German.
The Germans. Excuse me, Germans. Oops.
I don't need you to like knocking me out of any.
Oh, yeah,
searches.
sorry. Sorry about that.
That's
Okay.
That's $1 in the swear jar.
Oh, okay.
Also in the same canyon now as seen in Star Wars.
Yes, the Star Wars Canyon.
I did not know that. That
Yep.
Is that
New
Beggar's
thing I just
Canyon?
learned tonight. Thank you, Retro.
Any womp rats?
I was just going to say we're at the moment where Della kind of gets his up and comings. I guess this is what happened when you're too greedy, as he gets his up and comings coming soon.
His uppins will come.
Yes.
And of course, if I were the leader of the Germans, I'd have shot Indiana Jones right then and there.
Yeah.
The other thing that's strange about this film is Indiana Jones has actually had no effect on any of what's going on. They still ended up in the same place opening the Ark.
I love it when they do that on The Big Bang Theory. It like bums all of them out.
The only thing he's achieved is actually getting it in the end into the possession of the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So would you have been able to? Anybody here? Would you have your eyes open or closed?
Closed.
Closed.
I read enough Old Testament to know you don't mess with the Ark of the Covenant.
Even if I know exactly what it was, I would still have my eyes closed.
I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't look at it. I'd be like,
Yeah, it's only because you've seen this movie.
no, I read the Old Testament. If someone touched the Ark of the Covenant that wasn't supposed to, they would immediately die.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the death. You just drop dead.
You're right. So no, I wouldn't go near it. Even if I didn't know knowledge about it, still just by looking at it, I'm like, I don't think I want to get anything near that thing.
I love the sound effect. Wah, wah.
I think it was the same team that did Star Wars. Did they sound effects team work on this film?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
Ben
sound
Burtt.
like the effects sound familiar. Yeah. So they got the same team to work on this one for this part.
ILM did Ghostbusters too, didn't they?
So what was that, Birdman?
ILM did Ghostbusters, the first one, right?
No, that was Boss Films on the first one. They did the second.
Okay.
Effects.
Now, who are these entities? Are they angels? Are they demons? What
I
do you
I don't
they
think
are?
demons could occupy the Ark of the Covenant. I would say they're angels.
Yeah, I always took them
Angels
to
on
be.
death.
I always took them
angels
to
of
be
death.
angels who judged them poorly.
Yeah.
That it kind of opened up a portal, and that's why when everything starts to go upwards, and then it's denied, and everything goes back down into it, and then sends them to their final resting place.
I love these.
I remember seeing this in the theater. I thought, like, oh wow, look at them! Their faces are melting off. This rocks.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was scary, but it was like, wow. It was just like that's the way we all were when We went to see it because I know the next day we were at school, just at lunch, just talking about it, and we were like, "Isn't it cool that their faces just melted off like that?" And I think for the sheer spectacle, the spectacle of it.
Can you imagine the person that had to make the head of Toph just right so that when it melted just right?
Just right, yeah.
So when they saw it on screen, they're like, "I did that."
Well, I know it got several Oscar nominations for special effects. I know it did. It got several nominations for it.
Did it win that year?
I forgot how many it won. I have to look back at how many awards. I know it
5,
won a
I
few.
think.
I know it won 5. I'm trying to see what did it win for special effects.
Special achievement, sound editing, I think. For some reason, Fanduel's got best original score that year for Chariots of Fire.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Academy just does not like John Williams. That
Well,
should have
they've
won.
given him like
Okay.
50.
Art direction, film direction, sound editing, and visual effects. Yes.
Yeah. It should have won for score. Come
It
on.
really should. It really
How
should
could
have.
you not give an award for that score? Come on. Seriously. That should have won. And I'm also bummed it didn't win the big prize. Not Best Picture. I mean, I was too young to stay up and watch the Oscars that year, but when I read it didn't win Best Picture, I was like, how can that not happen? Come on. That's my
Was
love.
Chariots of Fire, did that get Best Picture?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay.
Yeah. I think that was the winner for that year.
For me, if it wasn't going to be Raiders, I was kind of hoping for a Golden Pond.
Yeah, that was kind of like the sentimental favorite.
But Henry Fonda did win for actor. So
Well, there's your double feature there, Big Al. On Golden Pond and then Indiana Jones.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. John Williams almost scored on Golden Pond, but he had to drop out. He didn't have the time to do it.
You know what? He shouldn't have a regret because in my book, the Raiders theme is classic. So
yeah, I would still, if any chance to get one more Williams score, though, I would take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, those two are going to go off and make Shia LaBeouf.
Thank you for that, Al.
Spoilers.
One of the great endings.
It is. That's a great ending. It is. I have to admit it.
It's like, because what would really be nice if it pulled back and it said Warehouse 13. And see how many people would get that in a modern.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't get it.
Wouldn't have gotten it then, but would be funny now.
Yeah. When the sequel was announced, I thought it would be, are they going to bring the Ark back out from that warehouse? Until I found out what Temple of Doom was about. But at first I thought, okay, we're going to see the Ark again because it's going to be a part 2 because they just put it in some storehouse somewhere.
Well, every adventure is a different thing.
Well, that was okay.
Didn't one of the books do Noah's Ark? Birdman?
I'm sorry, there's a bracket. What was the question?
One of the novels. Did any of them deal with Noah's Ark?
Yeah, in one of those Rob McGregor books, he finds Noah's Ark.
Now, I would read that one because I've always liked Noah's Ark.
And that book series takes place with a younger Indiana Jones. He's in his early 20s. It's a good book series, and I don't really read fiction, and I don't recommend fiction very often. But if you're an Indiana Jones fan, I would track down those books and read them.
I'll look them up. I think I read a few when the movie came out. I remember at my school they had a book drive. You know those book drives they have, and they had a novelization of Raiders, and I remember getting it from the book club at my school. One of my classmates, a friend of mine, is in there helping out, and I said, "If you see Raiders of the Lost Ark, would you let me know?" And he said, "Okay." And it was a novelization, but it had pictures from this movie and everything. It was all colorful. Dig. I said, "Oh, I got to have that." Thank you for holding it for me. Even then, I was pleased with it.
I was telling Birdman yesterday because I've been slowly getting all my old books out and stuff, and I found my novelization for all three of the films, not the fourth one, but.
Now I had a novelization of Temple of Doom also. I remember, yeah, I had that same book. Yep, and novelization. Yep, and read it too.
And Last Crusade as well.
Yeah.
I love getting books to movies.
Yeah. Yeah, because the novelization, you get some more details that you don't get on big screen, but the theme is still there. And I would still read them, even though so when you see the movie, I still want to read the book. I still want to see how the book does it.
Yeah, I always like that. I mean, sometimes you read the book just to get 2 extra lines of something that you didn't know about.
Right.
So you still wanted to read the book so that you knew.
Retro, I don't know how you're still awake at 4 a.m.
4:18.
Oh, wow.
You probably go out and just go get some breakfast or something.
No, I'll get 4 or 5 hours in.
Chris P, you still with us?
Oh yeah, still here.
Did you like the movie?
Oh, the theme is great to listen to even during the credits. Got a question. Go ahead, Al.
Oh no, I say I was agreeing. It is one of the top 5 greatest movie scores of all time, in my opinion.
What's the other 4?
Lord of the Rings, Superman, Star Wars. I have to think about the 5th one.
Jane Eyre.
I don't know Jane Eyre, so.
Okay.
Robot Jocks.
Here's it.
No, but I mean, I might fiddle around. I mean, like, so things go in and out of.
I understand.
Favor but definitely, the Indie March is definitely in there. The Lord of the Rings, the Superman, and Star Wars. Those 4.
Those are fantastic soundtracks.
So, because you hear it and you are immediately transported into that world.
Steven Spielberg prefers the march from 1941 over the Raiders March.
I love the 1941 march as well. I love all the. I would love to get a collection of just John Williams major march works. Like the Jaws theme, Close Encounters, and I know it's out there. I just have to get it. But
there's a YouTube channel that has 10 hours of John Williams music.
Oh, cool.
Dude, have you ever listened to the Midway March, Al?
I don't know. Are we talking about Midway as far as the film Midway?
The film, yeah, from the.
I've heard it.
70s?
I've seen the film, so I've heard it. It doesn't come to my mind though. I'd have to go back and listen to it. I like the movie though. I really have always liked historical movies like that. Like Midway, Tora.
Well, everyone, it's late for me. I know it's very late. Or early, depending on your life choices for retro reveals. I've been up since like 3 a.m. myself. So thank you, everyone, for 2 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Here's to 2, 4, 6, and 8, and more.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
As Birdman goes on and listens to the score, you have to rhyme it. Yes.
It's been surreal at times. I still can't first time Rose and I went out, I told her I had a YouTube channel, and she's like, "Wow, I don't think I could do that." I'm like, "Yeah, neither did I, but here I am."
You get recognized on the street?
I mean, all the time. Yeah. I mean, girls come up and give me their panties, and yeah. No, not yet. But and in real life, I am extremely like shy and reserved, and I'm not outgoing at all in real life. So.
Well, you have a great channel and a great concept, and you've been doing a great job with it.
I think
I'm glad to have my little piece of being able to join you every now and then. I really
appreciate you. I think the biggest success is everyone I've met and the friendships I've formed. Thank you all who come on the shows and just come to the chats. Thank you all. And I hated that Boomer's not here tonight. But he's got that hurricane, so let's keep him in our thoughts and prayers. And everyone who's in the path of the storm.
Thinking about you, Boomer. I hope you're out there, Boomer. Hope you're doing all right. If you watch this later.
Please take care. Stay safe.
Adopt, don't shop. Keep listening to great film music. Check out Retro Reels channel, Big Al Presents channel, and you other three don't have channels, do you?
I don't have a channel, but I do appear with Wolf 10 Media on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we have a chat about movies and films and television and so forth. So if you see Wolf 10 Media, check out his channel. I'm there. I'm part of the Wolf Squadron. Giving a shout out to him. Or the Wolf Fleet or whatever. I better get it right. You're right. And I don't have a personal channel myself, but I'm there every Tuesdays and Thursdays for whatever topic we want to rat and rave about. And we are off the chain in a good way.
Well, Leah plus size, if you ever want to join me for a movie, just let me know. Or because I'm gonna start doing the odd every now and then Friday movie rewatch about 7 or 8 at night.
7 or 8 at night.
Okay. 7 or 8, depending on the length of the movie. I don't want to cross into Troy's time too much. But yeah, I was going to do that once in a while. Boomer and I are going to be watching Robin of Sherwood maybe once a month or a couple times every 3 months. That's up to him. But I'd like to pull out a fantasy film or just anything really on a Friday night, maybe once in a while, or any night really.
I will make note of that. Okay, I'm sure you got something cooking up for October.
Well, I got
to be your month.
Well, I've got doing Grizzly and Piranha.
Oh, okay.
Those are my October one, and I do want to do Pride and Prejudice and Zombies at some point, like on a Friday night.
Oh, okay.
For fun. I want to see that movie again, and I think it'd be a good one for the Halloween season.
Yes, it would be.
I know Birdman's got some good Halloween films going to be on his channel.
Yes, I'm hoping Boomer will be back next week. I hope so. I would feel bad starting Halloween without Boomer. So, but I gotta get to bed. I really have been awake since like 3 this morning. So
oh yeah.
and this is the second show, and because Retro and I did a show right before this that will drop in about 2 weeks for Score Talk. He's the 3rd episode of Score Talk. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Take care. Boomer, if you see this, I hope you're staying safe and don't get blown away by that hurricane. And if you need a place to stay, my house is always open to you. Take care, everybody. Thank you for 2 years.
Good
Let's
night.
do this again next year.
Sure. Wonderful. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.